Hi, I'm Chad with Move for Guitar. This lesson is from our series Chords for Beginners. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to play an open G/F sharp chord. Here's an open G/F sharp chord. And a slash chord is when you take a note other than the root. So in this case, we're playing a G chord, so G is the root note. You take a note other than the root and put it in the bass, meaning you play it as the lowest note in that chord. And this chord is using the sixth string, so the lowest note is on the sixth string. It's the lowest sounding note. So now we're playing an F sharp, and that's why we call it a G/F sharp. It doesn't have a G as the lowest note. Now it has an F sharp as the lowest note. And that's not really important for you to understand, but whenever you see like a G and a slash and an F sharp, or a D and a slash and an F sharp, the lowest note isn't the root note anymore. It's another note that's either in the chord, or it might not even be in the chord, as in the case with this. This F sharp's not normally in the chord. And this chord is good for creating a little bit of movement with the lowest note. You could go from a G major to the G/F sharp, and then you could go to an E minor 7 or something. If you just play it by itself, it sounds a little strange, but when you're creating that movement, it sounds really nice. So the fingering for this chord is your first finger on the sixth string, second fret, and then your third finger reaches all the way down towards the floor to the second string, third fret, and then your fourth finger goes right under that to the first string, third fret. And with this chord, you're going to strum through all the strings, or what you might do is you pick this lowest note and then strum through the rest of the strings. But it's really important that your first finger mutes out the fifth string. So when you're playing that sixth string, it just gently lays on top of the fifth string and keeps it from ringing out. So it should sound like this when you hit it. It shouldn't create any type of note like that or like that. It should just sound like this. So you're blocking that and muting it out, and that way you don't have to worry about hitting it or not. You can just be free to strum through all the strings or pick the lowest note and not worry about accidentally hitting that string. With this chord, like I mentioned, you're going to be using your first finger to block out the fifth string, so it's going to lay a little flatter than it might normally. You know, a lot of times you'll play more on the tip of your finger. This time you're going to lay a little flatter and play more on this part of your finger so that you can rest across this fifth string and block that out, mute it out. But your other two fingers, which are fretted notes, which are your third and fourth finger, need to really be on the tips of those fingers and have a nice arch in your knuckle here. You don't want them to be flat like that or bent back at all, so that you can avoid hitting any of the other strings. And if you like the diagram for this chord, you can click the link on the screen and it'll take you to a free e-guide. And in this e-guide, there's just a bunch of beginner chords that you can learn, a bunch of diagrams for them. And it also has chord progressions in it, where I've taken the chords in the e-guide and put them together in sequences so that you can create nice chord progressions and make songs out of it, so you know what chords go together and what sounds good, and then it will show you how to explore it more on your own. So if you'd like to get that e-guide, which contains the diagram for this chord, go ahead and click the link on the screen.